It is update season, my dudes. You live under a rock in your grandmother's backyard, you've heard it by now. The Minecraft Happy Ghast update, Chase the Skies, is coming soon. Now, the stars of the show, the Happy Ghast, the big leash overhaul, or even vibrant visuals, we've all heard about them. They're great. Today's video, besties, is all about the lesser features in the update. Did you know that a structure is getting a big update in this update? Other mobs are getting changes and a little bit more dangerous, and even the end has some adjustments too. Well, yay, in today's video, we'll learn all about it. If you're excited for the update, smash that like button. What is the first thing you're planning on doing once the update drops? Tell me about it down below, and let's go. Bacon. One of the greatest things of all time. Of course, super useful for all of these cool effects, but also pretty useful for locating things inside of your world. Well, in this update, on both versions of the game, the beacon gets even more useful. That is because, at last, beacon beams will now be visible, sometimes up to thousands of blocks away, depending on your game settings. Once you get a little bit farther away from a beacon beam, it'll actually get a little bit thicker, kind of like it is right here, just so you could see it a little bit better. Now, for today's video, we're taking a look at about 20 or so updates. Some of these updates will be on Java, some of them on Bedrock, some of them on both versions of the game. The beacon's beam rendering has changed on Bedrock Edition as well. Why is it so gray, though? I'll either say it or pop up some kind of visual indicator as to which version the update's on. The nether, this biome spot right here, this is such a sick border. More importantly, though, here, it's all about the Soul Sand Valley biome. Inside of this update, the Soul Sand Valley biome is going to have way more structures than it ever had before in the form of a nether fossils. If you're used to how it was on Bedrock Edition, this change becomes super apparent if you can locate a Soul Sand Valley biome with a little bit more open space here. With these nether fossils popping up all over the place here, it will make getting your hands on the dried gas block way easier than it was before. Little bit more of a low-key change here, the clouds. Not only has their cloud map been entirely redone, leading to brand new shapes across the entire game, but they also go way farther than they ever went before. Like, for example, this footage right here you're seeing is in the Spring to Life update. The clouds are, whatever. Here they are inside of the new update, all the way down to the horizon, and on top of that, inside of your video settings on Java, you'll find a new toggle. It's called Cloud Distance, and you can actually control how far away the clouds will render into the air. Now, speaking of the Spring to Life drop, one of the big things inside of this update was plants, more specifically, beautiful plant sounds. Listen. The rules tied to these ambient plant sounds have been adjusted inside of this update on both versions of the game. For one, these plants no longer need to be open to air to make the sounds. That means you could hide these plants down under the ground. For two, the ambient sand sounds, well, it's silent over here because they are no longer tied to the sand block. Instead, if you want those windy, sandy tones, you need to put dry grass on top of 2 or more blocks of sand. You hear how quick that works. It's amazing. For three, dead bushes and their crickety sounds. Previously, they were tied to the terracotta block. Now they're tied to the dead bush, fully and solely. This will mean if you like to make terracotta builds or sand castles, they should be a little bit less noisy now. Back over to Bedrock Edition for this one. Of course, with the dried gas coming from the nether, and the gas being a nether species in and of itself, this update is kind of a nether update. For Bedrock Edition, that label stands even more true, because inside of this update, many different nether mobs have been adjusted. The big one we're trying to take a look at here is a specific version of the zombified pigment. Whenever I can get a small child, I wish the spawn eggs worked like they did on Java. Small child. Whenever I can get a small child, well, it looks to be a little bugged right now, but they should no longer be armed with a sword. If this ends up working correctly, I wonder what this means for these pigmen once they grow up into full adults. Are they just like not gonna be armed? For the longest time, a change that just wasn't on Bedrock Edition, but finally has now made to the cut. Spawn eggs. The spawn egg update inside of the Spring to Life drop introduced some new rules. If we've got a small mob like the silverfish or the parrot, the spawn egg is going to be pretty small. If we've got a more average sized mob like the sheep, it'll be the normal size. And then if we've got a large mob like the ender dragon, the spawn egg gets pretty chunky. In an update that only just made it into Bedrock Edition like a week or two ago, the Blaze spawn egg and the Breeze spawn egg have had new textures applied to them. For whatever reason, previously, both of these medium average size mobs had large spawn eggs, kind of like the Creaking or the Donkey or, other big things in the game. These new textures have been slimmed down, and man, they are just all so good looking. I'm still so obsessed with these eggs. Next up, Minecraft to Java Edition. Oh, he's so cozy near the early game starter world setup. The series out now. Oh, it's beautiful, but even more important, why is it becoming beautiful? Well, of course, it's all thanks to the firefly bush. Take a look at all these firefly particles. They are, like, to be honest, going absolutely mad, lad. Overkill inside of this thing, and listen. You can hear it a little bit better. The firefly bush is a little louder now. But on top of that, the firefly bush, a single plant of this thing, will emit way more particles than it ever did before. And these particles will be able to go much farther than they ever went before. Placing one plant down in an area, giving the second here, if you're familiar with this thing, the difference is pretty much instantaneously noticeable. But to notice this new change even more, place a couple of firefly bushes down in an area and, well, then you're not gonna miss it at all. These firefly particles very quickly will end up crowding your entire area. Oh my god, I just love it so much. I believe this is a parody update with Minecraft Bedrock Edition. It should be matching it. On Bedrock Edition, many nether mobs got an update. A different mob, non-nether version that gets an update inside of this update is none other than the parrot. So we know its deal. It's a little bit noisy. It likes to copycat other mobs, right? Well, listen. Our parrot friend here is going to mimic mobs way less frequently than it did in previous updates. Also, on Bedrock Edition, these things seem like glue on your shoulder. You can jump around all day long and they don't leave. Basically. I'm not gonna lie though, these parrot updates are really nice, but they might have taken it too overkill. This thing is like dead silent now. In order to check out one of the biggest, most game-changing changes inside of this update, first things first, let's over to the end. Second things second, the Ender Dragon. You're stale, you're crusty, get out of here. Once we remove the Ender Dragon of life inside of our world, we'll get a little end gateway to pop up. Now, these end gateways have received a significant rework over on Minecraft Bedrock Edition. They're so much better. So we'll go ahead and pull this off in full survival. This gateway right here, of course, no chance that it would ever fall out of the void. But if you've ever been to the end, you know how it goes. We have no clue what to expect on the other side. Now I can much more safely throw an ender pearl into this thing, teleport, and land more consistently on smooth, solid dry land. What the devs have done here is reset this spawn point finding mechanic of the end gateway, wherein if you use an end gateway and there doesn't happen to be land like right underneath it, you'll be put off to the side and on land still. For the longest time, this has been one of the biggest glitches on either version of the game, and now Bedrock Gang, you don't even have to worry about it. Gotta worry about falling from it though. With that juicy new recipe I'm sure you've all heard about by now, this update is really the saddle update of all time on both versions of the game. A massive, beautiful new mechanic that comes into play here involves the mobs that can spawn with the saddle from time to time. I didn't even need this spawn egg, this strider right here. You see this thing? It spawned with a saddle. So if you didn't know, striders that spawn with a zombified piglin riding them will spawn with a saddle on top of them. Because of this beautiful saddle update here, we have a brand new safe and ethical way to obtain a saddle. This beautiful, much more ethical method right here is going to involve any mob that spawns with a saddle. All you need to do is walk up to it with a pair of shears, and you could actually remove the saddle from anything with a saddle in the entire game. Previously, if you wanted the saddle, you'd have to whack and smack. No longer do you have to, well, you know, whack and smack. Just snip and clip. About halfway through our video here today, a quick reminder to smash that subscribe button. About 2/3 of you who watch my videos are not subscribed, and that's a tragedy. Sub now, and you'll become an OG one day. Mob update. There's another one. In this new update here, the pig, the wolf, and the sheep have all had texture changes. It has to do with their legs. It's most noticeable on the pig's legs right here. If you go back, you will never unnotice it, but the pig's texture on their legs is now mirrored. Same thing is going to go for the wolf. It's kind of hard to spot on that texture, and the sheep as well. If you take a look at those little kneecap pixels right there, you can totally see the mirroring that's going on. Somewhere right down along the line, the wind charge over on Minecraft Bedrock Edition received a little bit of a nerf update. I'm not too sure exactly when this update happened, but it did happen. This would amount to wind charges being a little bit weaker, and therefore being able to propel yourself and other mobs a whole lot less far than they were really intended to do so. Now, inside of this new update, wind charges have been fixed at last. They've been buffed a little bit. They are going to behave how they are meant to now, which means they're going to be a whole lot more powerful again. You'll be able to use these wind charges to send yourself way higher up into the sky, and other mobs as well that you hit on like an angle. Woo! Look at that jump right there. You're crazy. Potions. Inside of this update for both versions of the game, these things have received one of the most significant reworks that they've received in literally years. So this change here, it has to do with the calculation of the duration of an effect that one will get from a potion. Previously, on either version of the game, if you wanted to get the full potion duration effect from a splash potion, you would have needed to throw it up and have it smack you on your head, and only then would you get the full effect. Now you don't have to do that because potion duration effects are calculated differently. The duration of a potion effect that you get is now dependent upon how far you are from the center location in which that potion hits and, well, you know, splashes open. If you're a little bit farther away, you'll get less of an effect. Meanwhile, if you want the full effect, all you need to do is look down and toss this buddy right at your feet. Then you've got the full potion duration. They have also changed how potions work with other mobs as well. Previously, for whatever reason, some mobs would just straight up ignore potion effects and they wouldn't really actually properly work on them. One of the biggest mobs that this changes here is going to be the Happy Ghast. You can actually throw a potion on this buddy and, oh, look at that thing. You can see that it's sped way up. Like, I don't have a speedometer on this thing or anything, but this thing is now probably going double speed. Potions actually working correctly is the update that we never would have thought we got inside of this update, but it's the update we needed. Ah, yes, the Woodland Mansion. In my eyes, a relic of Minecraft's olden days. Like, to me, to be honest, this is sort of like the first super advanced structure that Minecraft ever added to the game. With so many different rooms and how they always are in a different location, structure to structure, this thing is pretty awesome. But even then, it still feels pretty ancient. Instead of the Chase the Skies drop, the Woodland Mansion has received a brand new room. Now, this brand new room here, it's actually a room variant and has existed inside of the game's files for years on years. It's just been glitched for literally the longest time. This right here is going to be our brand new room. Inside of the structure files, it is called Mansion 1x1v5. So this room right here, when it generates inside of your mansion, the vines will not be fully grown. But here you can see it's a little bit of an allium farm combined with maybe a little bit of a cauldron potion action going on. You'll also always have a chest that generates inside of this room, so new loot chest, except this time, I think it'll always have allium. This new room is a room that can generate in place of some of these other room variants that can generate inside of the mansion from time to time. This one, I feel like I've seen so many times over. I've always meant to do like a room by room look at this Woodland Mansion too, because you can see in this era, the devs were starting to get really creative with their different little build tricks here. Oh, mama, new music. Inside of this update, we've got 5 new ambient tracks to play around the overworld. We've got a new music disc. Oh, it's wonderful. And we've got a brand new Java edition only toggles that will pop up. So in order to check this one out, if I turn the music up right in the corner, immediately a brand new splash will pop up telling me the song. Now, when I run around inside of my world and pause the game, the music that is playing inside of the world will play on the pause screen as well. Thanks to these new music toggles right here, you can set music to play at a default frequency a little bit more commonly, or you can have it looping pretty much constantly. This is such a nice change, and I've been loving it while playing Minecraft on stream. Jumping back into the nether here, Minecraft Bedrock Edition, the Crimson Forest and the Warped Forest biome. Both of these biomes are made up of an unburnable, immovable type of tree. You're right? Wrong, because up until this update, from time to time, occasionally these biomes could entirely burn down if there was fire in the mix. And wait a second, fire in the mix here? Isn't this an entire dimension built out of fire? Huh. It definitely wouldn't always happen, but all of these plants could sometimes catch fire inside of these biomes and lead to the biome basically being a barren plains biome with some cool colored grass. Ooh, but moving ahead through this Warped Forest biome over to the Nether Fortress here. If you've been meaning to go to the Nether Fortress but putting it off, well, you done gone ahead and messed up, buddy. That's because in this update, the Blaze has received one of the largest buffs of all time. This mob is going to be way more aggressive and way more dangerous, being able to target you from, like, sometimes basically beyond render distance. It's crazy. The Blaze's attack sound, so like the fireball sound that the Blaze will make when it shoots at you, is now hearable up to 32 blocks away, and its attack distance is now moved up to 48 blocks away. That means you could easily be clear on the other side of a nether fortress and have Blaze shooting at you from really, really far away. Thank God they're not too accurate still. Oh, but oh my gosh, this is actually such a huge change. The Blaze are way, way more aggressive and dangerous now. You should have gone to the nether fortress before or something. I've also noticed as well, maybe it's a ghost change or something, but they seem to do a better job at pathfinding through the nether fortress in order to chase you and continue shooting at you as well. Getting right near the end of the list here today, I'll leave the theories out of this one, but the horse. It feels a little bit weird, not a place in this update. On Minecraft Java Edition, this thing is way more polished. On Minecraft Bedrock and Java, you can now feed this thing carrots in order to make it like you a little bit more, or heal it up if it's happened to take a little bit of damage. So sorry about that, buddy. And sneakily, inside of this update, the saddle shearing, that works on the horse, but also armor shearing will work on the horse as well. That's right, you can take a pair of iron shears and now shear diamonds. Shearable diamonds? What in the world? Now today I've saved maybe the most suspicious updates for last. Sus sand. In Minecraft right now, there is only one sus sand block in the game. However, sand blocks, well, kind of like 3 different sand blocks, but soul sand, there was never going to be sus soul sand, right? There's only sus sand for the normal sand block. But up until this update, in the files, there was room for sus red sand as well. Now, obviously, with this stuff being added way back in 1.20, it's been years now, there is no red sus sand. Maybe this was a sign at a canceled feature. But either way, the devs don't usually like to have random bloatware inside of the files on used things, so they went ahead and removed it from the files entirely. There is no longer a spot for red sus sand inside of the game's files. I guess archaeology is never going to get an update. However, one weird thing that still can be found inside of the game's files here, up until the release of this update, or pretty much here, inside of the texture files, if you know exactly where to look, you'll find the locator bar folder, and inside of it, bowtie. Bowties are still inside of the update. So this is really weird. Because of how things are done on Bedrock Edition, I'm not sure if it's able to see if bowtie has ever been on Bedrock Edition, but for sure on Java, this bowtie file, you can see it bouncing around on screen. It's inside of the game files, but is entirely unused. Case in point with the red sand we just talked about, it's not really like Mojang to just leave random things inside of the game that they're not actually planning on using. Bowties have made the cut for the full final update. What does that mean for the future? 20 updates coming to the game alongside the Chase the Skies update. You're going to want to tap like, subscribe over the next couple of weeks on top of brand new updates. Well, I'll be cooking up my usual banger update breakdown video. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks for watching. On the end card, there will be a video. Check it out. My patrons, Pixie Phantom, Deb K, Faithful Grim War, Jilly K, and Lena R. You're the best. Until tomorrow, I'll see you then. Goodbye, everybody.